Yo, FantasyFling with DFS Army, and this is your Week 16 cash lineup review. All right, going to start with the cash lineup I rolled out into the majority of my cash games. So, I really thought it was pretty clear this week. It was going to be a decision point between 4,500 Michael Penix, who was chalk and, projected for almost 4x his salary, just really cheap. And then Josh Allen, who was, Mr. Reliable, which he actually ended up not being very reliable this time around. But, I did roll out a Josh Allen cash lineup as well. That did not do well because Josh Allen, you know, had a 14-point game. And honestly, he hadn't scored like under 20 in like 12, like 13 weeks. So it was an uncharacteristically bad game for Josh Allen in a good matchup. Is a within a 30-point implied team total. So if you went with Josh Allen in cash, you did not do very well. The majority of my cash games was Michael Penix, who only got 7 points, but it wasn't really so much about what Michael Penix did. There were a lot of really good running back spots on this slate that I just wanted to be able to get to these guys and also be able to live in the 5 to 6K range at wide receiver, and thought it would be pretty easy to hit the cash lineup doing so. And that's exactly what happened, to hit the cash line. So Penix obviously vastly underperformed, only got 7 points. Half the field played him though in this double up. And, really, this was a tale of Jameer Gibbs, James Conner, and Chuba Hubbard, who were all in solid spots, specifically Jameer Gibbs and James Conner. These two guys above 7K were the reason why I wanted to go with Penix versus Josh Allen in the majority of my cash games. It was just too good of a spot. Jameer Gibbs was a core play for me, going against Chicago, who is better attacked on the ground. And without David Montgomery, he's just been in elite spots before and smashed. So loved him. Loved James Conner against the worst run D in the league. He got 29 points. He probably would have got over 35. He missed the entire fourth quarter, and he was just killing it. And then you kind of had to pick the right wide receivers. I really liked these three. I also liked Brian Thomas as well, but just salary wise, it didn't quite work out to get Brian Thomas in this lineup because I did not want to go below Jacoby Myers from another spot. Went Malik Neighbors, 13 points, great for cash. Same with JSN, 24 points, and he really saved this lineup from not hitting the cash line because it was a bad week for Jacoby Myers. And then Brenton Strange, he was the cash option. Now, when we talk about like eating good chalk or paying down at tight end, paying down at defense, we got the pay down that's also chalk. And yeah, he only got 3 points, but 72% of the field played him, so it did not hurt us in cash games. We're only trying to beat half the field, so it was more than enough. And then obviously Chuba Hubbard, 35 points, absolutely smashed in the flex. So really, it was Gibbs, Connor, and Chuba and JSN that really carried the rest of this lineup. So I was able to, still cash with getting 2 snowflakes and only a 7 from Penix. And Raiders D at 6 points at their salary, 2,700, was definitely more than enough. So we'll go to the chalkboard and see what the chalkboard was telling us. It was telling us Anthony Richardson and Michael Penix were the two top owned guys, as well as Caleb Williams. And really, Richardson's been such a high variance quarterback that I did not want to go there. Same thing with Caleb Williams. We didn't know with Michael Penix, and he was, so cheap that with his projection, he had almost a 4x projection. So I really thought that Penix was a good play. And then Josh Allen, the majority of the season, if you play Josh Allen in your cash lineup, you were going to be very profitable. He was a guy that was not on the chalkboard, but ended up, including him in the cash lineup. And this was just a down week for Josh Allen in a great spot. There's no other way to say it. Jameer Gibbs, Chase Brown, James Conner, Chuba Hubbard. These were the cash guys. The chalkboard spelled it out for you. Who were the guys that you really wanted to be on? Now, for me, because I had identified James Conner and Jameer Gibbs as my top two guys, I was not getting to Chase Brown, just did not have the salary. So, it was really for me Gibbs, Conner, and Chuba Hubbard. Because Chuba Hubbard was 6,800 versus Chase Brown. So made a lot of sense to go down there. And then that was because of that, I could afford Malik Neighbors, a couple other guys, you know, Jacoby Myers actually ended up being a little lower owned. JSN as well. I expected JSN to be higher owned, but it was such a good spot for JSN. And I just truly believe in him as a talent this year that, even though he wasn't the highest owned, he was a guy that I loved in cash and was on my cheat sheet as well. Most of these guys were fine. We're seeing the kind of volume that you needed. DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, specifically Thomas and Neighbors. Like, you had to play one of these guys. And just the way the cash lineup worked out, I ended up playing Neighbors, but I actually liked Thomas a little bit better. And then, tight end, it was Brenton Strange. 14% chalk pay down. I do not pay up in cash at tight end, and you see exactly why. McBride at 6,200 would have crushed your cash lineup if you played him. Brenton Strange at 3,500, he failed. He did not crush your cash lineup. And, it was pretty obvious just to play him in cash. So we'll take a look at the cheat sheet. Like I said, I had Allen as the top guy, but I did go with Penix because of the rest of the lineup was more balanced. This is something I told to DFS Army subscribers in the Discord. And this is something that, in addition to the chalkboard that we just looked at and the cheat sheet and our Discord, which we use for not just NFL, but all sports, NHL, NBA, for breaking news, last minute thoughts on the slate. It's a very important piece of being a DFS Army VIP is that Discord community. If you want to be a Discord member, if you want to be a DFS Army VIP, get access to all these tools, the research station, the domination station, the cheat sheet, the chalkboard, you can use code FantasyFling. They'll get you 10% off a VIP subscription. The link will be in the video description. But as I was saying, I had said that Penix was, made the lineup more balanced. Chase Brown had been Mr. Consistent, averaging 24 points per game. It was a good spot for him. And but I liked Gibbs more. As you could see by the stars here, I liked James Conner slightly more than Chase Brown as well. And with these two, if you follow the cheat sheet and the coach's notes, that really made Chuba Hubbard the guy that you were going to fit in, because even with Penix being 4,500 and a pay down at tight end and a pay down at defense, you weren't going to be able to get Jameer Gibbs, James Conner, and Chase Brown all in the same lineup unless you punted at wide receiver. And I really like the more balanced approach than going with the Jalen Coker or Malik Washington. These were your value plays if you were playing that Josh Allen lineup, to be able to still play, a Jameer Gibbs, a James Conner, and with Josh Allen, you're going to have to punt at wide receiver. The guys that did, the guys in the 5 to 6K range that I like the most were going to be obviously Brian Thomas, Neighbors. Thomas smashed, Neighbors did well, JSN smashed, Jacoby Myers did not do well, but DJ Moore smashed. So, overall, did pretty well with the running back and wide receiver group. Strange was the punt, and then it was the Raiders and tight end, the pay down at tight end and defense. So, overall, a pretty good cash week. And, let's try to keep it going. On to next week. We only got a couple more of these reviews. So thanks for joining me for another week in review. If you like these reviews, hit that content. Let me know. Let me know how you did in cash. And make sure to subscribe to the channel. Lot of content coming your way this week for all the slates that we have. Christmas slate, the usual showdowns, usual Sunday main slate, and then obviously the Saturday slate as well. So we'll see you next time.